Welcome back to Patch Notes, your daily briefing on gaming news. Microsoft spent a chunk of its recent Xbox Games Showcase letting Senua scream through trailer footage for the third Hellblade. 9 days later, Ninja Theory staff were reportedly told on Monday morning to start hunting for a buyer. The marketing budget outlasted the studio. On June 10, Xbox CEO Ashish Sharma sent a staff memo with one short line that, in hindsight, everyone should have read more carefully. The reset, capital T, capital R, stopped being abstract. 6 days later, it had a body count. Multiple outlets confirmed on June 16 that Ninja Theory is being shuttered. Compulsion Games and Double Fine are reportedly in the same closure or sale conversation. 3 first-party studios, 1 bad week, and a CEO memo that already told you it was coming. Hellblade II shipped in 2024 to strong reviews and modest sales, which under the new Xbox math is apparently grounds for execution. The third game starring Senua was meant to be the comeback. It might end up the eulogy instead. TechSpot is calling this the roughest single day for Xbox first party since the Bethesda layoffs. Microsoft has not posted a public statement at time of writing. The silence is doing most of the heavy lifting here and saying quite a lot. 1.3 million Europeans signed a petition asking the EU to make publishers stop bricking games they sold us. On June 16, the European Commission politely answered no and offered a future industry chat instead, the bureaucratic equivalent of "we will see." Instead of a binding law, the Commission promised to convene industry talks by the end of 2026 to draft a non-binding code of conduct. Non-binding code of conduct. 2 phrases publishers have historically respected with enormous discipline and care. Ross Scott, the Accursed Farms YouTuber who started the campaign, did not take this as a loss. His public reaction reads like someone who already had Plan B printed before the press release went up. The campaign is not dead, it just moved buildings. Plan B routes through the European Parliament directly. Scott wants the existing Digital Fairness Act amended to cover online game preservation, skipping the Commission entirely. The argument is that elected MEPs have less appetite for industry lobbying than the unelected commissioners do. What this means in practice: if you bought The Crew in 2014, the EU still does not have a law that says Ubisoft owed you a working copy in 2024. The campaign continues. The shutdown servers do not come back. Yet. Helldivers 2 shipped its biggest patch of 2026 on June 16, called Machinery of Oppression. Patch 630 is large enough that, within roughly 2.5 hours, Steam's review velocity tripped a positive spike warning, a 493% jump. Major orders, the live operation backbone since launch, are gone. They have been replaced by galactic campaigns, which group objectives into a structured arc with clearer goals and guaranteed rewards. Less, maybe we win. More, here is exactly what you get for trying. The Bastion tank moves into the heavy armor class, which is the kind of patch note that means it now plays meaningfully differently. Exosuits and the ballistic shield get rebalanced alongside it. Whether this fixes or breaks the meta is a question for next Tuesday. A new biome called Forest Fall arrives, finally adding something that is not a desert, a swamp, or a snowfield. The patch notes run long enough that even the diehards are still reading. Reviews flipping positive in 3 hours is not a coincidence, it is a verdict. Arrowhead spent most of 2025 trying to climb out of a goodwill hole they personally dug. Machinery of Oppression looks like the first patch in months the community is genuinely happy to see. The honeymoon will probably last a fortnight. Take it while you can. Behavior Interactive launched the Jason Voorhees chapter on June 16, and Dead by Daylight promptly hit its highest concurrent Steam player count in its entire 10-year history. 125,820 simultaneous survivors and killers. Over 250,000 across every platform combined. Live service is dying everywhere, except apparently in Behavior's specific corner of the swamp. Adding Jason was the obvious move 2 licensing reorgs ago, and behavior finally has the rights. The result speaks loudly enough to be heard through a hockey mask. The peak was not Jason alone, though. Behavior stacked the launch with a free-to-play promotional week and a 60% discount on the base game. Both PC Games N and Insider Gaming credit the three-way combo for the record, not the killer in isolation. This is also Dead by Daylight's 10th anniversary, a game most live service postmortems would have buried by now. Instead, it is setting concurrent records. The lesson, if behavior has internalized it, is that horror license collaborations print money. Year 10, biggest day ever. Whether the curve holds past the free week is the only real question left. Behavior's track record on license chapter retention is solid. Jason at 125,000 concurrent is a thunderclap. Jason at half of that next month is still, frankly, a hit. Microsoft confirmed the 2nd June 2026 Game Pass wave on Xbox Wire. Call of Duty Vanguard, the WWE shooter nobody asked back, returns to the rotation on June 17. EA Sports FC 26 follows on June 18 via EA Play. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 + 4 lands later in the window. Vanguard is, by most measures, the least liked modern Call of Duty. Its return to Game Pass reads less like fan service and more like a soft test for the deeper Activision back catalog. If Vanguard moves engagement numbers, expect more Sledgehammer and Treyarch shelves to open. EA Sports FC 26 is the more obvious play. The World Cup group stage starts in North America the same week, which is the single best marketing window EA could have prayed for. Subscriptions go up, servers strain, nobody at EA is surprised. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 + 4 rounds out the wave later in the window. The combined offering, a hated shooter, a guaranteed sports hit, and a nostalgia remaster. It is the most Game Pass thing Game Pass has done in a while. The strategy is fill the calendar. Worth flagging, this is the same week Xbox first party is reportedly being thinned out. The catalog goes wider on third party while the studios go narrower. The math on what Game Pass actually is, right now, keeps quietly shifting under the hood. Nintendo released Firmware 22.50 to both Switch and Switch 2 on June 16. The genuine surprise is that the original Switch got the bigger upgrade. The eShop on the old hardware finally gets a redesign that does not feel like a museum diorama. The Switch 1 eShop refresh includes a faster layout, a theme-aware dark mode that respects your system theme, and an optional user verification pin gating purchases. The pin is the standout for anyone who has ever lent the console to a child with a credit card adjacent thumb. Switch 2 gets Dutch and Russian accessibility options and a 10-second skip control in news and eShop videos. Genuinely nice and conspicuously small compared to what the older hardware just received. Nintendo is throwing the original a bone on purpose. Timing matters. Star Fox releases on Switch 2 8 days from now. Nintendo is shipping accessibility work right before a marquee launch, which is the kind of basic platform competence that in 2026 somehow still feels notable. The original Switch, nearly 10 years old now, still has tens of millions of active users. Giving it a proper eShop refresh instead of letting it quietly rot is a rare platform holder move that respects the hardware people actually own. Good. More of this, please. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick stopped on a sidewalk for one of those School of Hard Knocks TikTok ambushes. Someone asked him on camera when GTA 6 launches. He gave the bluntest confirmation yet of November 19, 2026. The most expensive game in history, reconfirmed in vertical video. Asked why the development cycle ran so long, Zelnick gave the line every Rockstar pitch deck has used for a decade. It is also the kind of answer that sounds prepared even when it is delivered on a noisy street. He has been practicing this one for a while. The why matters more than the date itself, frankly. Pre-orders and marketing are widely expected to open the week of June 21. The CEO reconfirming on a viral platform days before that opens is not random. This is the soft launch of the entire campaign. Other publishers are reacting. Fable was reportedly pushed out of its window earlier this year, specifically because nobody sane releases against GTA 6. The entire 2026 holiday calendar is bending around one game that, in the end, is the actual story. Worth saying out loud, nothing is officially confirmed until Rockstar's parent goes on record, and Zelnick is Rockstar's parent. November 19, 2026. Mark it, set a reminder, plan around it. The rest of the industry already has. Valve quietly committed to a launch window. A blog post about the Steam-verified program expansion contained one sentence the entire hardware industry just rotated to read carefully. The Steam machine and the Steam frame both shipping this summer, in writing. Summer in the meteorological sense ends September 22, combined with recent Canadian FCC filings that points at a window between late June and early September. The lower bound is now uncomfortably soon for anyone hoping to get a unit on day one. The Steam machine is Valve's second swing at a living room PC, a decade after the first one quietly died. The Steam frame is the new VR headset. Folding both into Steam verified is Valve saying the software side is ready. The hardware is the only remaining variable. Valve does not pre-announce hardware unless they fully intend to ship it. The original Steam machine flopped because OEMs built the boxes and Valve barely cared. This time both devices are first-party. That, more than anything else, is the meaningful upgrade. Verified program expansion plus an FCC trail plus a public summer commitment is the closest Valve ever gets to shouting. A full reveal is expected within weeks. The only real question left is whether anyone outside PC enthusiast circles will actually buy one in 2026. That was June 17, 2026. Microsoft reportedly killed a studio whose game was still on the showcase reel. The EU shrugged at 1.3 million voters. Jason broke a 10-year record. None of this is going to be less strange tomorrow. Subscribe if you want the next collapse delivered straight to your feed. That's your patch notes for today. Subscribe so you don't miss daily gaming news.